A lot to cover for you tonight on Weather Underground, including this. We've got one main storm, but it's going to bring different effects weather-wise depending on where you are. So we've got the potential for more severe storms across the south, shot of cold and gloomy conditions for the East Coast, and more rain offering up more flooding for places that would really like to just dry out.
Severe weather is coming our way, and there's a pretty reasonable explanation as to why. Pretty classic spring setup coming in.
Yeah, that's why we've got Dr. Navarro here with us to talk about that. Water vapor already showing that dig in the jet stream.
Yeah, Alex, you said it. There's that next. Look at the models here. This is showing us our forecast now into Wednesday. There's that jet stream dip coming in, and there's a decent amount of shear associated with this. Some strong winds in the base of that trough. And so it's right over the Texas, the Houston, Dallas, maybe even to San Antonio, where there's also going to be that high moisture coming off the Gulf of Mexico. So dew points here getting up into the high 60s, maybe even the 70s.
So the moisture, the instability, those winds, those mid-level winds all lining up nicely, and that's why we're watching this area in particular.
Absolutely. So all those ingredients coming together, lining up on top of each other, that's where our highest instability is going to be. But as we move forward into Thursday, that looks like it's going to be breaking up a little bit, and those ingredients won't be co-located as much. And so that trough is going to come in, but a lot of that moisture is going to be more or less on the eastern part of the country, even down in Florida. And so notice only a low area of that instability, that convective available potential energy. So Thursday doesn't look as potent as Wednesday does in this case.
So tomorrow a bigger day. Thursday still the chance of severe, but doesn't look quite as active.
Exactly.
All right, Mike.
Keeping our fingers crossed we can keep that threshold to. That is the governor talking about how do we fortify ourselves against disasters in the future like this. The team is all here to talk about it, including Dave in Arkansas this evening. If you combine the flooding and the severe weather this weekend, a little too early to put a dollar number on it, but likely this is going to have a price tag of $1 billion plus.
Yeah, first 4 months of the year alone, we had 5 weather climate disasters that did exceed that $1 billion total. So we've seen severe outbreaks. We've seen a freeze, with the, what kind of damage that does to crops. And then also the western storms across the west, the flooding in California.
Dave, in your experience, and I know you've been to a lot of floods, and they are very, very costly. Are we doing enough as a nation to mitigate the risk of floods and how much damage they cause?
And then we talk about that. This city looks at past and says, okay, well, this is where we think it needs to be to protect us. But as has been the case of recent, we've been seeing more and more of these extreme events that are exceeding what we really even thought we needed to plan for.
Yeah, and at what point do we need to start thinking, okay, maybe we need to relocate? And I understand that people don't want to leave their homes. People don't want to leave the place where they've been settled, and that's a very difficult thing. But at what point, when we see more and more of these events, when our levees are breaking, the ones that we tried to account, we have to start asking these hard questions.
Well, and people have even been talking about it. I mean, I've got a couple of tweets saying it's like maybe it's one of those deals that 3 strike down.
No.
We know that.
The problem is that with flooding, it's a little different than wind damage, where you might be replacing a roof or some panels. With flooding, water is so pervasive, you really have to start from scratch. And I think that makes that such an interesting special case is, once it happens once.
I know people don't want to do that.
Yeah. These are often the places you want to live, near the rivers, near the water, near the coast. But unfortunately, they put you in those susceptible spots.
All right, thanks, everyone. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate the commentary this evening. We've got a lot more.